Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave and this is my daily ruling. Today's question was suggested by a viewer. Thanks to Jay for this one. Amy attacks with the grizzly bears that's equipped with Sword of Hours. Nick blocks with two 1/1s. Does Amy get to roll twice? And to answer this one, let's recall this important fact about combat damage, which is that in each combat damage step, all the combat damage is dealt simultaneously as part of a single game event. Therefore, even though the grizzly bears dealt combat damage to two different creatures, it only dealt combat damage one time. Therefore, the Sword of Hours will only trigger to let Amy roll a d12 once. Even worse, the effect looks at the total amount of damage dealt when determining whether you should double the +1/+1 counters, meaning that even if one of those creatures just took 1 damage from grizzly bears, the number you would need to roll to double the counters would be the same as if all of the damage went onto a single creature. Well, that's not very fun. Let's see what we could do to get another trigger. Well, if you had one of those effects that give you an extra combat phase, you could deal combat damage again, and that would do the trick. Or, if you had some way to give the grizzly bears double strike, that would work too, since double strike functions by having there be a second combat damage step, and letting the creature deal combat damage in each of them. Another idea would be if you had something like this Felix 5 boost here that would let you have the ability to trigger a second time for each instance of the grizzly bears dealing combat damage. The really fun thing about all these solutions is that they all function slightly differently in such a way that they can all stack with each other. So if you had all 3 of these out, then you could get 8 Sword of Hours rolls in a single turn. For the stats nerds out there, that would give you about a 50-50 chance to double the counters, even if the bear dealt more than 12 damage. Now there's one last idea that I wanted to touch on to get an extra trigger, which would be using a different equipment. If you take a look at this Giant's Skewer, then you can see that its trigger is worded a little bit differently from Sword of Hours. It triggers whenever the grizzly bear deals combat damage to a creature. In the situation described in the original problem statement, the grizzly bears dealt combat damage 1 time, but it did deal damage to 2 creatures. So if the bear was equipped with this Giant's Skewer, that would count as 2 instances of its trigger condition happening, causing you to get 2 food tokens. Pretty cool, right? And that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another daily ruling. Until then, I hope you have a great day.